This is the recipe you're going to be getting today. It's rich and hearty and really delicious. You're going to enjoy this. Today I'm going to make some stew. A very good tasting special stew. This is a chili beef stew. Lots of chilies, lots of beef, slow cooking, and delicious results. Ladies and gentlemen, this is chili beef stew. It's my own recipe. I'm just putting it together right now. It is delicious. And if you're wondering how I know it's delicious, well, it's very simple. I've made so many dishes of this type. I already know what this is going to taste like before I start. My mouth is watering. I can taste it on my palate now. I know exactly the direction I'm heading on this, and it's a good one. Let me show you this really cool recipe. It's rich, it's hearty, easy to make. And before I jump into that, and if you're asking, is this chili? No. Where chili is a spice-heavy dish, this chili beef stew is a spice-light dish. Very little spice in it. It's about the vegetables. It's about the fruit, the meat, the good stuff that goes into the pot, and then we slow braise it, and it's delicious. Before I head in there, I want to mention on my website, when you're finished looking at this recipe, you're going to be able to go to my website. Let me kind of open this up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Get to go to my website. I have the recipes. And here's the inside of one of the recipes right there. Really cool, isn't it? Here's the thing. These things are designed really well. Lots of pictures, really good descriptions, and it's the kind of recipe that you would normally see in a book, and it's presented that way. And so you're getting really good quality there. So when you're finished with this, if you want it already printed, that's where you're going to find it. In the description below, there's a link. And also a link to my website and Texas Cooking Today. So right now, let's get in the kitchen. Let's get busy cooking up some really delicious food. Come on. Of course, a chili beef stew needs two things. It needs beef and it needs chilies. We have got plenty of each, folks. Green chilies, the poblano, nice and meaty, very low on the heat, fantastic chili flavor. One of my favorites. I've got some beef chuck here. Really good for long cooking, for that slow cook kind of thing. I'm going to be cutting it down into smaller pieces, but still, the nature of the cut really lends well to this dish. Back here I have some crushed tomatoes, cumin, and beef broth. And on the front here we have some salt, garlic, and a couple of little white onions. Plenty of chilies, a little bit of onion, some tomato to set the flavors off, and boy, I tell you what, you've got a perfect combination of flavors right here. It's time to get our vegetables processed to make this dish. What I want to do is to do simple dicing. I want about 1/2 inch square dice from these and about 3/8 inch square dice from these. Plain and simple. And on the garlic here, you don't have to do much. All we're going to do is just crush the clove and throw it in with that dish. Remember, it's a slow cook, so the garlic is just going to kind of cook down into a soft mush. The chilies on these, processing is very easy. Cut the crown off. These poblanos core very easy. There's almost nothing inside of them. Just bust them open and cut them down into 1/2 inch dice. The prep work is all taken care of. We've got the onions diced down. If you notice, the poblanos are cut into really large dice, okay? We want this to be as hearty as possible. And these things are going to get really small and soft. So cut them big. Don't be afraid of that. On the meat, I cut the dice on it kind of small. And that way there's plenty of chunks of meat to the rest of it all. And that's what I was wanting. Something sort of thickish, hearty, and wonderful. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can approach the next step. And that is throw everything into the pot, stir it together, put it in the oven at 250 degrees, and come back in a few hours to see what you got. Okay, that's sort of the neat, slow, long way of doing it. And similar to what a crock pot will give you. If you want to develop a little extra flavor, you can first sear the meat, then add in the vegetables, cooking them a little bit, and once you get some development in flavor and get the meat browning, then add the other items and get it into the oven and cook. Either way works very, very well. Both methods are equally suitable for this dish. So please enjoy this. Get everything together, get it mixed, get it in the oven. Also, this can be done on the stovetop if you set it to a low simmer and just allow it to sit there and cook through the afternoon or through the day. It'll do just fine. As you see, I'm getting some browning going on my meat here. Right now is time to put the vegetables in there and get those softened just a little bit, about 10 minutes of cooking with the meat, and then the rest of the ingredients and put it in the oven. Get it braising. Now you want that oven temperature, a medium temperature, is about 250 degrees. We now have everything together in one pot. And ladies and gentlemen, this is beautiful looking. What's going to happen here is you're going to see the tomatoes and onions just disappear on you. The poblanos are going to get very hard to find. They'll be there, you'll see them, but they just won't be as distinct as they are right now. The meat will be quite visible, and this sauce is going to thicken up. All right, so it's just a matter of time and slow cooking. Give it plenty of patience is what this needs. So if this takes like 3 hours to cook, don't worry about that. That's developing flavor. Lower the temperature and cook it even longer if you'd like. I'm going to start mine at 250. That's sort of a middle of the road temperature, and that's going to be a few hours at that temperature. It is ready to hit the oven. I love this part. It's where I get to relax. All right. Okay. Now, give it time, folks. Here's how you know when it's ready. You come in, you check it. Open the lid in a couple of hours, you taste it. If the meat is tender and it is the right flavor, go with it. If the meat is still needing to be cooked a little longer, cook it a little longer. And that's how you can tell this, by how tender your meat has become. All right, I wanted to show you this. I've removed it from the oven after about 2 hours of cooking, and it was doing beautifully. It reduced quite a bit. You can see the line where the liquid was before and what it has cooked down to now. Something else I want to mention though, when I took this out, I thickened the sauce further, and what I did there was use 1/4 of a cup of cornstarch to about 1/3 of a cup of water, mixed the two together, poured them in here, and boom, this is the beautiful consistency we have now. I'm presently cooking off that cornstarch, and I only give it about 10 minutes of extra cooking, and that's sufficient. And then this is ready to serve. I think maybe some rice with it would be really, really good. The quantity of everything I used was, first of all, on the chuck. I started with a 2.5 pound piece of chuck, and I trimmed out about 1/2 pound of fat. So realistically, I had about 2 pounds of diced chuck meat. Perfect. All right, and to that, an equal amount of green chilies, equal amount of poblanos, and that was 2 pounds of poblano chilies, 1.5 pounds or 3 cups of crushed tomatoes, 2 cups of beef broth, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt, 4 to 6 cloves of garlic, and 1/2 pound of diced onion. It's just that simple, folks. Delicious. And the other thing we added to this was plenty of time. Let's take a look at this gorgeous dish. This is good, hearty, stick to the ribs kind of food, as some folks like to call it. Yeah. There it is, folks. We've got this gorgeous bowl of chili beef stew. Something to garnish it with is nice. This is something that's a really good hearty meal, but hey, it works year round, and it's a great way to stretch some budget ingredients. There you have it. Delicious. This is good. Guaranteed. It's really hearty. It's delicious. It's not hot. And the cool thing is, we achieved banging flavor, and we didn't throw a bunch of spices in there. You know? Chili. It's actually a fruit. A fruit is defined as any seed-bearing pod. A chili's a seed-bearing pod. It's pretty much the pure definition of it. And so it is a fruit. The onion is a vegetable. Yummy. We got beef in there. We have a healthy dish right here. And all of that goodness, just so much in the way of vitamins, minerals, and absolutely good quality for the body. Folks, thank you very much for watching this recipe. Please take a look in the description. You're going to see where my recipes are sold on my website, as well as other stuff like the shirt and some neat little goodies that I have there. If you would, please take a look at that. Take a look at Texas Cooking Today. There are hundreds of recipes waiting for you to enjoy them. And if you haven't subscribed, well, it's only because you're behind the curve. If you would, click the subscribe button and click that bell so you know when the videos come out. And please remember, I'm going to keep putting out regular stuff. If you have a request, let me know. And that's what the comments boxes are for. Thank you, and you folks have a good day. Bye-bye. Ooh, now, time for this.